What if Earth stopped rotating for one day? The impossible moment. Imagine waking up one morning and the world feels wrong. The wind outside howls like a scream. The sun hasn't risen. It's stuck on the horizon, frozen in time. And then it hits you. The Earth has stopped rotating. No sunrise, no sunset, just endless twilight stretching across the sky. At first, you might think it's some kind of eclipse, but then your phone, your compass, your entire sense of direction, everything goes haywire. The air trembles. The oceans roar, and within minutes, the most peaceful planet in the universe turns into the most dangerous place imaginable. So what if Earth stopped rotating for just one single day? Would we survive, or would our world be torn apart in seconds? Let's find out. The spin that defines life. We hardly ever think about it, but right now, as you sit or stand, the Earth beneath you is spinning at over 1,670 kilometers per hour, 1,040 miles per hour, at the equator. That rotation gives us day and night, controls the winds, and even shapes the oceans. It's the rhythm of life, constant, silent, invisible. Without it, everything we know, gravity, weather, time itself, would change in an instant. Our sunsets, our sleep, even the beating of our hearts are synchronized with the endless spin. But what if, somehow, by some cosmic event or unimaginable technology, that spin stopped? Would the planet pause gently or tear itself apart in seconds? Let's freeze the Earth just for one day and see what happens when motion itself betrays us. The first second, the shockwave. The moment Earth stops, you don't. Everything not anchored to solid bedrock would continue moving eastward at over 1,600 kilometers per hour. Cars, buildings, oceans, even the atmosphere itself keeps spinning, turning into a planet-wide hurricane. Within seconds, the winds would rip cities apart, tearing glass and steel like paper. Planes would fall from the sky, their engines useless in the chaos. Mountains would crumble under the unstoppable force of inertia. Entire forests would flatten in waves of air strong enough to peel the ground away. On highways, vehicles would be launched like bullets. On coastlines, the oceans, still moving, would rise hundreds of meters, smashing inland like liquid tsunamis. The entire human civilization, everything we've ever built, would be wiped out in mere moments. And that's only the first minute, the moment when motion itself becomes our greatest enemy, the global flood. Now imagine the oceans, no longer contained by balance. When Earth rotates, centrifugal force causes the equator to bulge slightly, pushing water outward. But when rotation stops, that bulge collapses. Water rushes from the equator toward the poles like a beast unleashed. Massive floods drown cities that were once dry. New York, Dubai, Mumbai, Sydney, all swallowed by tidal waves taller than skyscrapers. Entire continents would change shape before our eyes. Meanwhile, polar regions, once covered in ice, dry out as the water leaves them behind. The balance of the planet's weight shifts violently. Earth's crust groans, mountains rise, and tectonic plates buckle under the sudden redistribution of mass. Our map, the one we've used for centuries, would redraw itself in a single day. Continents would shift from coast to chaos. Half the world would be underwater, and the other half would be gasping for air beneath red, dust-choked skies. An endless day and night. Because the Earth stopped rotating, one side would face the sun, locked in eternal daylight, while the other side would be trapped in endless night. It would be the most haunting sight in history. Half the planet bathed in fire, half frozen in death. On the day side, temperatures would skyrocket beyond 200 degrees Celsius, 392 or most. Deserts would boil, oceans would evaporate, and crops would turn to ash. The air itself might ignite in localized firestorms, swirling walls of flame dancing across continents. Skies would turn copper red, beautiful and deadly. Meanwhile, on the night side, the world would freeze. Temperatures would plummet below 148 grados. The seas would solidify into walls of ice, and life would vanish under eternal darkness. Cities would become glittering tombs, frozen mid-motion. The twilight zone, the thin strip between day and night, would be the only survivable area where heat and cold balance out. And that's where the last remnants of humanity would try to live, between fire and frost, clinging to the line between life and extinction. The broken atmosphere. With the planet no longer spinning, the atmosphere would also stop circulating properly. Wind systems that once carried clouds and storms around the world would collapse. Jet streams vanish. Oxygen levels drop in stagnant regions. The once living air becomes heavy and stale. Massive temperature differences create tornadoes thousands of kilometers wide, swirling pillars of destruction bridging the day and night sides. Lightning storms crackle endlessly across the half-lit skies, illuminating the planet like a broken neon bulb. Sandstorms cover entire continents, grinding down mountains over centuries of relentless motion. And acid rain falls from the unstable upper atmosphere, dissolving metal, rock, and bone alike. Breathing would become dangerous, not because of lack of air, but because the air would no longer move. Without circulation, pollution and carbon dioxide would concentrate in deadly pockets, suffocating devastating entire regions. Skies that once brought rain would now carry death, and humanity, if any remained, would finally understand how fragile our invisible atmosphere truly is. The shifting Earth. But the chaos doesn't end with the surface. Deep beneath your feet, Earth's core keeps spinning. That molten heart drives the magnetic field that shields us from solar radiation. If the surface stops but the core keeps turning, massive tectonic stresses would tear the crust apart. Volcanoes would erupt across every continent. Earthquakes would split entire countries in half. And as the magnetic field weakens, the planet becomes vulnerable to deadly cosmic radiation. The sky would glow with unnatural colors, auroras of doom, while radiation burns the surface. Human technology, satellites, electronics, power grids would fail instantly. Communication would vanish. Civilization would collapse. And the survivors. Let's imagine somehow a few humans survive the initial chaos. They live in the twilight zone, between burning day and frozen night. A narrow ring around the planet, maybe 1,000 kilometers wide, becomes the new cradle of life. Here the temperature is bearable and water still exists. But survival isn't easy. Without a spinning Earth, the magnetic field fades, so radiation from the sun constantly bombards the surface. Crops mutate, animals die. People are forced to live underground, building new civilizations powered by geothermal energy. The new days last months, years even, since the planet no longer turns. Time loses meaning. The clock, the calendar, the concept of morning and night, all gone. Humanity begins to forget what a day ever felt like. Planet of extremes. Within a year, the Earth becomes a divided world. On the day side, the air shimmers under constant solar heat, a desert of molten rock and endless fire. On the night side, the atmosphere collapses into glaciers and frozen nitrogen seas. If you stood at the border between them, you could see one half of the sky blindingly bright, and the other, a frozen void dotted with eternal stars. Rain no longer falls, winds no longer flow naturally, the weather dies, and yet somehow small pockets of life cling to existence, deep beneath the ice, within mountains, and under oceans now heated by volcanic vents. Evolution begins again, forced to adapt to this new, unmoving Earth. The return of motion. After one long, eternal day, the impossible happens. The Earth begins to move again. Maybe it's a natural rebound. Maybe the core rebalances itself, or perhaps some ancient machine hidden deep below reactivates. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the planet starts rotating again. The frozen night begins to thaw. The burning day begins to cool. The oceans rush back toward the equator, drowning the coasts once more. But this time, it brings something else. Rebirth. Clouds form again. Rain falls for the first time in centuries. The winds return. The Earth breathes. But the survivors, those who endured the stillness, would never forget the silence, the sound of a world that once stopped spinning. The lesson of the spinning world. It's easy to take it for granted. That gentle spin that gives us sunrise, sunset, and the rhythm of life. We complain about the weather, the rain, the night. But if Earth ever stopped for just one day, we'd realize those little inconveniences are what make life possible. Every gust of wind, every wave that hits the shore, every rotation is a heartbeat of the planet itself. So tonight, when you see the stars drift slowly across the sky, remember, you're standing on a world spinning through space at incredible speed. And if that spin ever stopped, so would everything you've ever known. So, what do you think? Could humanity survive a motionless Earth? Would we adapt or vanish with the last sunset? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this journey made you wonder, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inside What If, where imagination meets reality. And every story begins with two simple words: what if